Hello, I'm Kevin, and what I'm doing is tracking Big Four sports history, both past and future, and present too, one team at a time. So, I'm doing all the teams, but I start with four. I'm starting with the Houston Astros, the Carolina Panthers, the Golden State Warriors, and the St. Louis Blues. Every day, I change my wallpaper to reflect one random player from each of their histories. So today I got four more names from four very different corners of sports history. A hometown postseason pitcher, an obscure goalie with a remarkable hockey family, a one-season Warrior, and a Panthers linebacker who stuck around longer than you might think. We'll start in Houston. Brandon Backe is one of those Astros where the regular season numbers don't really explain why people remember him. Backe was originally a Galveston kid. He was born right down the road from Houston. And here's the strange part. He wasn't even originally supposed to be a pitcher. Tampa Bay drafted him in the 18th round in 1998 as a position player. He bounced through the infield and the outfield in the minor leagues before converting to pitching. Not long after making the switch, he was in the majors. Then in December 2003, Houston acquired him from Tampa Bay for Jeff Bloom. And that's funny because we've already had Jeff Bloom on this series. This series is starting to trade players with itself. Backe's career earned run average was over 5, nothing special. But put that dude in October, suddenly things start to get weird. In 2004, Houston was trying to clinch the wild card on the final day of the season. Roger Clemens unavailable, so Backe got the ball and helped send the Astros into the postseason. Then in Game 5 of the NLCS against St. Louis, he threw 8 shutout innings. 8! Against that Cardinals lineup. A year later, in Game 4 of the 2005 World Series, Backe gave Houston 7 scoreless innings against the White Sox. Houston lost the game 1-0 and got swept. And that's a sick way to throw 7 shutout innings in the World Series. Backe finished 31-29 in his major league career, almost all of it with Houston. For today's wallpaper, I've got him wearing number 41, although he also wore 37 during his Astros career. Brandon Backe isn't really a good example of why career numbers don't always tell you who somebody was to a fan base. Now let's jump backwards about 30 years. Bob Johnson, St. Louis Blues. And no, this isn't Badger Bob Johnson. This is Robert Martin Johnson, a goaltender from Farmington, Michigan, who very briefly played for the St. Louis Blues. Johnson's entire NHL career lasted 23 games, 11 with St. Louis, 12 with Pittsburgh, His Blues time came during the 1972-73 season. He went 6-5 with a goals against average somewhere around 2.7. And this is exactly the sort of player I like finding for the wallpaper for. Because unless you're seriously buried in Blues history, when else is Bob Johnson ever coming up? He wore number 31 for St. Louis, but here's where his story gets a little more interesting. Bob Johnson's son was Brent Johnson, who also became an NHL goalie and eventually also played for the Blues. Bob's father-in-law was Sid Abel. He's a Red Wings legend and Hockey Hall of Famer. So you've got this almost forgotten Blue goalie sitting right in the middle of a multi-generational NHL family tree. It's one of those little threads running through hockey history that you could go decades without noticing. Bob Johnson, number 31 in net. Now let's go to Golden State. Chris Porter, he's one of those more fascinating one-year Warriors we're going to run into. Porter was a 6'7" forward out of Auburn. He became one of the biggest stars in college basketball. Golden State took him with the 55th pick in the 2000 NBA draft. His rookie season wasn't too bad. He played 51 games, averaged 8.6 points and 3.7 rebounds. And he looked like somebody who might stick around the league for a while. But that was it. That was his entire NBA career. Porter's problems were never really about whether he could play. He showed up late to Warriors summer camp, ran into serious legal trouble during the offseason. Golden State eventually included him in a trade to Charlotte. Then came one of the strangest endings to an NBA career you're ever going to hear. Porter missed his flight from Oakland to Charlotte. Hornets waived him. Think about it. He's 23, he just averaged about 9 points a game as a rookie, and he never played another NBA game. He continued playing professionally elsewhere, including stops in the CBA and overseas, but his NBA career is permanently frozen after that 1 year with Golden State. His final NBA game was actually pretty good. 14 points, 11 rebounds, and the production, and you wonder just how differently things might have gone. Finally, Carolina. First of all, Hannibal Navies. That's an awesome football name. Linebacker, 6'3", around 245. He was a Colorado Buffalo. Carolina took him in the 4th round of the 1999 draft with the 100th overall pick. And he spent his first 4 NFL seasons with the Panthers. He wore number 53 in Carolina. Navies wasn't a star, but this dude carved out a legitimate NFL career. After Carolina came Green Bay, then Cincinnati, and finally he became a starter in 2005. Later he played in San Francisco. All told, he played 96 regular season games. He collected more than 200 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 interception. There's something I really like about that kind of career. He's a 4th round pick, never made the Pro Bowl, never became a household name, but he spent 9 years in the NFL. There's a whole lot more Hannibal Navies careers in professional sports than there are Tom Brady careers. You can't build a professional sports league without guys like this. So that's wallpaper 4 for Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Brandon Backe and those strange October performances in Houston. Bob Johnson, a nearly forgotten Blues goalie with hockey history all around his family. Chris Porter, whose NBA career disappeared almost as quickly as it started. And Hannibal Navies, who quietly spent nearly a decade surviving in the NFL. 4 guys, 4 completely different careers. Tomorrow, we'll pull 4 more names out of the history books. But for now, I'm Kevin. I want to thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you some other time.